Hey everyone, Jason here on Tax Accountants. Today we're going to be looking at a little bit of an interesting subject, and that is compounding with regard to rental properties. Compounding isn't something that's particularly understood by a lot of people, but Einstein once said that it was one of the most powerful things in the world, and it truly is. Even in these desperate times in 2012, we've got the recession, property values have gone down a bit, doesn't look like there's any big rises coming up. You still have to be very educated and aware of what compounding is, because it can be used to phenomenally grow your wealth and your property portfolio. So let's look at it, okay? So, you have bought a house for 100,000. Okay, that's its value in today's market. Nice deal, nice house, nice area, and 1 year later the house goes up in value by, let's pick a number, safe number, let's say 4%, okay? So 4% of 100,000 is 4,000. So the house is now worth £104,000. No one put £4,000 more into the property, or hopefully they didn't, just the market grew and people were now prepared to pay a new price for the property. So at the end of year one, this house is worth £104,000. Let's see what happens in year two. Okay, we're going to get 4% growth again, but it's not 4% of 100,000, it's 4% of the new number, 104,000. So I'm going to quickly get my little calculator out here. 104,000 times 4% times 4% is £4,160 of growth. So the house is now worth £108,000 and 160 at the end. Okay, let's do year three just for the sheer sake of it. In year three we get 4% growth again, but it will now be 4% of the new number, which is 108,160 times 4% is £4,326. Okay, and the property is now worth £112,000 486. Okay, we notice here that the growth in year one was 4,000, in year two it was 4,160, and in year three, £4,326. So the growth every year has increased. Why did it increase? Well, stick with me and we'll discuss that in part two. Hi folks, welcome back to part two, where we're going to be looking at the compounding theory. Well, not so much theory, in fact, it's pure fact. It happens every day in property. So earlier on we discussed growth in year one of 4,000, in year two of 4,160, and in year three of 4,326. In each of these years we got 4% growth, but as you can see the number increased. And it increased because it was measured on the new value of the property. It grew exponentially. This is amazing. You start with a sum of money and you get growth, and then you get growth on the growth. That £160 there is in fact the growth on the previous year's growth. This is why Einstein called it one of the most powerful concepts there was. But you know, something that even seasoned property professionals sometimes forget is that when they bought this property for 100,000, quite possibly they put down a deposit of 25,000 and they probably got a mortgage for the remainder of 75,000. Now, when this growth of £4,000 happened, it happened on the 100,000. But the 100,000 was made up of your money, the deposit of 25,000, and the mortgage company's money of 75,000. You could call that leveraging. You got the growth on the whole sum, even though only part of it belonged to you. As a percentage, a £4,000 return in 1 year on 25,000 is a phenomenal return. And that is why compounding is literally the most powerful concept out there. Stick with me, see you in another video.